Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Joe, and it's time for Puck It with Joe over here on Sports Grid. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday. Short slate today on the ice, only two games. We made some freaking money last night. We definitely had some fantastic games out there. So if you tailed any of those bets, make sure you let me know which ones you were able to cash on. I want to give a big shout out to everyone out there watching on X and watching on IG Live. Drop those questions below. Let me know what you're wanting to know in the ice hockey world, and we'll try to get to everyone's questions as we go here. A little harder for me to see on IG as it's streaming off my phone. So be patient with me. I will get to those questions, but let's make some money today. It is that time. And like I said, only two games on the ice. We've got to first talk about the Arizona Coyotes taking on the New Jersey Devils. Now, this is going to be a really interesting matchup. And at the end of the show, we will get to some quick leans for tomorrow's games, with only these two games being on the docket today. But Arizona Coyotes, man, when we first start hockey season, those names just roll off your tongue a little bit different there. I'm just trying to pull up current odds here for the Arizona Coyotes in this game. They're being underrated in this one. I don't love that line. Plus 195 right now on the money line for the Arizona Coyotes to get the straight up win. Minus 240 on the New Jersey Devils. Plus 1.5 on the Coyotes is what I'm liking in this one. Grabbing them plus that goal and a half is minus 122. While the New Jersey Devils are by far the better team, you've got to look at these teams coming into that first week of these games and expect them to be able to dig deep. We saw it with the Chicago Blackhawks. We saw it with the Vancouver Canucks. These upsets do come. And for the Arizona Coyotes, who have made so many improvements in the offseason, this team is full of young, competitive players, and they've added some nice solid vets out there. I do think this line is disrespectful to them. I expected the New Jersey Devils to be around minus 195 favorites in this one, not minus a 240 straight up on that money line. So for me, all of the value here is on the Arizona Coyotes plus the 1.5 on the puck line at minus 122. Now, total of 6.5. And we know the New Jersey Devils played last night, but that is not even a concern for me in this one, because this Devils team is a young team. They are built for offense out here, and we're going to see that out of them. We're going to see the speed come out of this team. But the Arizona Coyotes, I think, a team that can keep up. I'm expecting the Arizona Coyotes as well to be able to score. Smith coming out in goal here for the New Jersey Devils, it's looking like. So I do expect those goals to come on both sides of the puck. When we look at this total of 6.5, I do like that to the over, because I have faith in the Arizona Coyotes as well tonight. I love their team total over 2.5. That's coming in at minus 112. So value there as well. I think this is the Arizona Coyotes team that is going to be one of the most improved teams in the whole league this season with the adjustments they have made. So look for this team to come out really strong. Yeah, Johnny, I'm seeing Johnny on IG say the Devils that over tonight, and I'm with you. You can look at the Devils team total to the over as well. We know how powerful this team is. Jack Hughes getting those 2 goals in the last game. The problem with Jack Hughes in the last game, you guys, I don't know if you realize, he spent 4 minutes in that penalty box. He absolutely cannot do that again, because I think this Arizona team is a team they might have overlooked here. We know they're playing on that back-to-back, and that game versus Detroit last night, I tell you, if you didn't watch it, it was an absolute bruiser out there. These guys were going so hard against each other. The Detroit Red Wings almost got that win. They played so hard. So Jack Hughes, stay out of that penalty box. You guys know from last season, he's one of my favorite players to prop bet out there. He makes his money time in and time out. That being said, we look at lines for him a little bit juiced here for my liking on Jack Hughes in this matchup. So I'm going to stay off it. Now, it is Friday the 13th, and someone pointed out to me, you got to have Jason props on Friday the 13th. So looking at the Arizona Coyotes, They added Jason Zucker here. Now, he was with the Pittsburgh Penguins last season, 27 goals with them. I do expect him to come out nice and strong for the Arizona Coyotes today. And who doesn't want a Friday the 13th Jason prop? Shots on goal, 3+ shots on goal for him is coming in at plus 130, or sorry, minus 138, but his anytime goal at plus 260. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on that just to have some fun here on Friday the 13th with that. I do think, though, the Arizona Coyotes plus 1.5, sprinkle a little bit on the money line, maybe split your normal bet between those two, because I really do think this is a 4-3 style win, if not a 5-4 style win at the end of the day. Now it will be heartbreaking here if the New Jersey Devils capitalize on an empty net kind of situation. That is my only concern here with taking the Arizona Coyotes on the puck line. But I do think this is a game that we should see stay tight. Now, who is the top scorer here for the Arizona Coyotes, and who can we count on? It is Clayton Keller. He's been phenomenally strong for this team. He had 86 points last season, 37 goals, 49 assists. You can take him 2+ points in this one at plus 215. It's the only way you're getting value on him for those points. And it's a shame because I wanted to just take him for the point tonight, but the books know he is due for that point. So between a goal and an assist, I would prefer the assist if you're looking for that. But I do think he comes out nice and strong. And I think there's goals in this one. So taking the points here with Clayton Keller, who should be on the ice a lot tonight, is definitely a good way to go. So that's what I'm liking in this game. Both teams to score in the first period. Also, really interesting way to look. I think this is definitely worth a sprinkle. And if you guys haven't been able to tell, I love taking plus money bets. I'm not going to come here and tell you guys to take a minus 150 bet. It's just not who I am. So if you're looking for those style bets, Pocket with Joe is definitely the wrong way to go. Shots on goal for Jack Hughes. I'm seeing that question being dropped. Yeah, Jack Hughes, we know he's going to come out with those shots on goal. The defense of the Arizona Coyotes really, while they're going to show improvement this season, we're still going to see them allow those shots to come, and Jack Hughes is going to be strong out there. So I would look at Jack Hughes for those shots on goal to the over of 3.5. So 4+ shots on goal is what it's listed as at FanDuel. But both teams to score in the first period, I loved. And when I was looking for this, I was looking for Arizona, for the Coyotes to get that first goal, to just come out here on the ice and go guns a-blazing and get it. But then I stumbled across is both teams to score in the first period. And it seems like hockey's been off for so long, I forgot that this is just one of those bets. If you like the over 1.5 in the first period, looking at both teams to score in the first period is absolutely a moneymaker if that's how you believe that over 1.5 is going to hit. So we know the New Jersey Devils started off hot most seasons. Now, yesterday's game, 0-0 in that first period. The goals came in the second and the third. I don't see the New Jersey Devils starting off as defensively and not pushing that puck down the ice offensively. I expect them to score in the first period. I think the Arizona Coyotes should score in the first period as well. So both teams to score in the first period is coming in on FanDuel at plus 162. And I tell you guys, always look at that. If you're liking that over 1.5 in the first period, if you fully believe that over 1.5 is going to hit because you like both of those teams. So I'm loving it. Just a big shout out to everyone who is joining us here today. We're talking these two games on the ice, and then we're quickly going to go over just a couple of look aheads for the next game or for tomorrow's games. So there's people saying the Arizona Coyotes aren't scoring in that first. Now, I caution you a little bit with this team. I do think it's going to be one of the most improved teams. We know the Arizona Coyotes struggled last season on the road. That road record was absolutely deplorable for them out there. It was 7-25-9 on the road last season. They were a better team at home, and they were able to pull off some of these upsets. I do think this is an opportunity for them to play a tight one. The last time these two teams did play last March, it was a 5-4 win for the New Jersey Devils, and they're coming off a hard battle. So I just do think the situation here where they might underestimate the Arizona Coyotes has that opportunity for that one. But the over, and then you look at the defense of the New Jersey Devils. The Red Wings had 35 shots on Vanacek last night. So I do think the Arizona Coyotes will have those opportunities to get those shots. Now, they struggled completely in New Jersey last season and versus New Jersey. So caution here, but you know what? Betting the favorite isn't going to make you a lot of money at minus $2 and change. I just can't get behind it. And I think the Coyotes have a chance to keep it tight. So give me the plus 1.5. Okay. Second game, and the only other game on the board, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Washington Capitals. Now, the Capitals dog at home in this one, plus 105, minus 126 here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The total sitting at 6.5. Now, it is juiced at minus 114 to the over, but minus 106 to the under. The plus 1.5 on either team. You'd have to lay the 1.5 with the Pittsburgh Penguins here to get any value. That's at plus 180. Because the Washington Capitals plus 1.5 is minus 225. So, we're not going to go there with that. But looking at this matchup, really interesting. The Pittsburgh Penguins off that loss in their first game out to the Chicago Blackhawks in a game that they were the favorite coming in. They expected to get this win, and a lot of us did expect this team to be able to get the win. Sidney Crosby and how many veterans they have on this team really looking to make a push this season. Can they score? Absolutely. Did they blew the lead in the last game. They kind of fizzled out. Is that age showing with this team or just getting back out there on the ice? I'm not sure. But then they're facing the Washington Capitals. We know this is another older team. Now we've got Ovechkin on this team. And if you didn't know, Ovechkin chasing Wayne Gretzky's record here. Is he going to hit it this year? No, I don't think Ovechkin hits it this year. Looking at Ovechkin here, he has 822 goals so far this season. Wayne Gretzky's record is 894. So he has a long way to go here. You can bet over on FanDuel when he's going to reach 850. I do see him being able to reach 850 this year. I think he gets closer to that 860 mark. He needs 28 goals to reach that 850 mark. So you can bet which team it will be against. And when you start to look as we get deeper into the season, there's a couple of teams that he does face a couple of times over several weeks. And you're looking at the value there. Montreal is the team that is the favorite for him to reach that mark at. In this game, though, I do think we see Ovi come out nice and strong. This really is a battle, Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin in this one. So you got to look at both of these players to be able to get on the board tonight. Now, Ovechkin, shots on goal, 4+ shots on goals coming in at minus 130. So you're laying the juice there. His anytime goal is plus 115. Looking at these veteran players, especially going for records and everything like this, the best time for them to get those goals on the board is when they're fresh, out there, out of the gate. Perfect time for both of these guys. Now we know Sidney Crosby came out strong in his last game. He was able to get those shots on goal. He got an assist for us and a point for us. He wasn't able to get that goal, but I do like him to come out in this one. I'm going to take Sidney Crosby 3+ shots on goal. Actually, I'm not. 3+ shots on goal is minus 160. So you have to take him for the 4+ shots on goal. That's coming in at plus 158. Like I said, you guys, I don't like laying juice, especially with player props. You can look at him for the assists. That's minus 106. His point, you can't bet. It's unbettable at minus 230. For the anytime goal, it's plus 160. I can see this being a back and forth battle between Crosby and Ovechkin tonight. Now looking at Ovechkin, 4+ shots on goals coming in at minus 130. Anytime goal plus 115. He really gets up for when he plays against Sidney Crosby. He's had 4 shots on goal in 2 of the 3 matchups last year. So I do expect those shots to come again in this one. The Washington Capitals are a sneaky deep team, and a lot of people underestimate this team, and I don't know why. And I hear a lot of people saying, this is just an old team and they don't have a deep roster. And I actually think the opposite of this team. I think this is a team that has solid players on all of those lines and is able to make an impact. Now, looking at the goaltending matchup, Tristan Jarry coming out here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He stopped 31 of 34 shots on him in that season opener versus the Chicago Blackhawks. And then Darcy Kuemper here for the Washington Capitals. Now, we all know Darcy Kuemper's numbers are really down compared to the Darcy Kuemper we saw make or get the Stanley Cup back with the Colorado Avalanche. Now, this is because the guys in front of him just not as sound as the Colorado Avalanche's defense. Darcy Kemper was used to a team that was limiting those opponents' ability to get those shots on goal. So while his numbers look a little down right now, I do think we've seen some improvements on Washington's defense, and I do think the injuries we saw last year is going to help this team with those players back healthy this season. And they're going to be able to give Darcy Kemper more support, which is the kind of goal he is. He needs that support out there. He cannot have all of these shots on goal. So, where am I going? What am I going to bet with this one? Well, first period over 1.5. I do like this at minus 134. I'm not going to take the both teams to score in this one. I could see a situation where one of these teams opens up really hot and the other team takes a little bit of time to get things together. So not the both teams to score, but the first period over 1.5. It's a little juicy at minus 134. I'm going to take those player props between Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin. I like both of their abilities to get those 4+ shots on goal. I would take their points, but no value here. I do think sprinkle a little bit on the anytime goals for both of these guys. Now, another thing I think is interesting here, this game to go to overtime. That's coming in at plus 350. You guys, I think it's worth a sprinkle. I think these two teams are going to play in a really tight game here. Both of these teams are going to give each other trouble. Now, when we look at them over the years, they have gone to overtime 18 times and they've split those overtimes. I just could see this one going in that direction. And I do think, again, with the ability to go overtime, I would have to take the over because if this one goes to overtime, I think it's 3-3 going to OT. So there's a lot of plus money to be made in this game if you're looking the same as me and you think all of these things can come to fruition. So it's going to be a great game out there, you guys. I can hardly wait. And I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me here for this. Pens on the money line, I'm seeing over on IG, and I don't hate it. They do have a game under their belt, and I do like that. Now, Erik Karlsson, their new defensive addition out there for the Penguins, he didn't look as solid as I would have expected in night one. So I'm expecting him to come out and have a better game. This Penguins team, it just killed me how they died in that third period in the last game. So that's why I'm a little cautious here. But you should look at teams that already have been out once to be able to make a little bit more of an impact straight out of the gate, right there as they get out there on the ice. But again, I think the Washington Capitals, they've got a really strong blue line, you guys. And I do like the offense that this team has. So I'm cautious on the side there. Give me the over. Give me those props. Give me both or the first period over 1.5. So new coach here as well, Spencer Carberry here for the Washington Capitals. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. Now, this is his first year ever being a head coach in the NHL. I almost said NFL. NHL. He did make AHL Coach of the Year back in 2021. So I do have faith in him to get these players really rallied behind him. The overs hit in 14 of the last 19 meetings as well. So should be a great game out there on the ice. When we start to look at look-aheads for tomorrow, you guys, let's just quickly look at these. And I'm still trying to work out when we're going to go live tomorrow, how we're going to do that on the weekends here with Puckett for Joe over on Sports Grid. The Flyers and the Ottawa Senators play tomorrow. The Ottawa Senators are the favorite at home. This is a team you guys know that I'm high on. The Flyers were able to get the win last night over the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think the Senators have the ability, after they lost in their first game, to come out nice and strong. I like Brady Tkachuk. So I'm leaning that way. Right now, we've got a minus 188 there on the money line. I haven't gone in depth in these games. So, looking at that one, I'd be looking at the Ottawa Senators team total to the over if it's 3.5. That being said, I do not know the goalie matchup here for the Philadelphia Flyers. Carter Hart looked really good in the last game out, so we'll see if it's Carter Hart coming out there for them. But I do like the Sens' ability offensively. The Florida Panthers then take on the Winnipeg Jets. Both of these teams yet to record the win, with the Jets favorite at home at minus 128. Now, my Calgary Flames take on the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Pittsburgh, like we were talking about plays tonight, this is a look ahead spot where I would look at Calgary right now at minus 104. Markstrom should be in goal for this team, and we know they were able to get the win last night over the Winnipeg Jets. The reason why I like Calgary right here without knowing the goalie matchup, Pittsburgh, older team. They're playing the Washington Capitals tonight. I think this is a nice opportunity here to grab Calgary before this line moves at all. I do think the money will come in on Calgary. So that's minus 104. New York Rangers will be in action at minus 200 versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Rangers were able to get the win the other night. I hope you guys tailed me on that. The Red Wings will be playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Total 6.5. I'm telling you right now, minus 104 to the over. That looks way too low. We know the Chicago Blackhawks have been so strong offensively to come out with Connor Bedard. We've seen him get the assist. We've seen him get the goal. Look at Connor Bedard's shots on goal versus his Montreal Canadiens team, whose team really isn't that strong out there on the ice. I do expect that one to go over the 6.5. The Nashville Predators and the Boston Bruins also will be playing the Minnesota Wild, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Buffalo Sabres, and New York Islanders. I tell you, I'm really wanting to take the Buffalo Sabres at plus 110 versus the New York Islanders, but we'll dig more into that game. And then the Seattle Kraken taking on the St. Louis Blues, the Colorado Avalanche, and the San Jose Sharks, and the Anaheim Ducks and the Vegas Golden Knights. So great games. Oh, and the rematch of the Vancouver Canucks versus the Edmonton Oilers. That is one where you would expect this Oilers team to be able to bounce back here off of what the Vancouver Canucks did to them in Vancouver in that last game, because who would have thought? We took the over in that game. I also had the Oilers team total over 3.5. They got what? One goal, you guys. Vancouver owned them from every second out there on the ice. It was like Edmonton didn't even show up. No one told them that it was time to start the season, just like we saw with the Toronto Maple Leafs when they made it into the second round of the playoffs last season. So it's going to be interesting. I think Edmonton back at home, great place and solid place to look at them. The very last game is the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the LA Kings. So great games tomorrow. I'm live on Sports Grid tomorrow night from 8 p.m. Eastern all the way to midnight. So join me over there. We'll be live betting these hockey games that are in action, talking what is on the slate for the NFL the next day. So make sure you join myself and Scott Wetzel over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking just at the comments on IG. Crazy how the Islanders' first game is 5 games into the season. I know, Johnny, it's crazy how late this Islanders team has their game is scheduled to kick off. I'm just not sure why it is so late in the season. And yes, everyone had Edmonton in that game versus the Vancouver Canucks. And we should have known this was a game where Jack Campbell ended up getting the start. It looked like it would be Skinner. Edmonton's biggest issue is their goaltending. And this team normally so strong offensively, you would have expected even with the goaltending issues. And that's why I wrote Edmonton's team total over the 3.5 with all the firepower on this team with Connor McDavid and everyone out there, Leon Draisaitl, and that they could have at least put up the goals, even if they were going to lose that one. Now, Vancouver has made so many improvements, and we know since they got their new head coach that this team really has changed around. That power or the penalty kill isn't the worst ever anymore. They still made it to the worst in the whole league last season just because of the start of the season. But this team is really turning things around. I think they give Edmonton a hard time in Edmonton, and looking at that line, you got to lay so much for Edmonton there. So it's going to be a crazy day on the ice. Like I said, going to work out when we're going to do some sort of live show tomorrow before these games kick off to give you more of my bets on the ice. But I will be live at night between 8 p.m. Eastern and midnight Eastern, going over everything happening out there. Congratulations to Phillies fans with the Phillies getting that win over the Braves. So much happening right now, you guys, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here with me here on the daily. If you did not join us the last couple of days, missed out on some of those futures and still want my futures, tag Thompson to record over 88.5 points. That is one that I love. Jack Hughes over 99.5 points. So I haven't seen if these odds are still there. I'm sure they are. You can also look at the Ottawa Senators Their points to go over on the season, 91.5. I'm high on them this year. I think they'll be able to do what the New Jersey Devils did last season, and the New Jersey Devils again over 105.5. Now, a lot of people looking at the Canucks team total to go over with them getting that nice win over Edmonton. I'm buying a little bit more into this Vancouver Canucks team, and lots of faith coming around my Calgary Flames. Now, you guys know, while I'm a homer for the love of my teams, I'm normally a pessimist against what I think they're going to do in these games. So when I give you the Calgary Flames to get the win like we had last night, it's because I truly believe I look at them as more of a negative before the positives, and then I find that way to make money. So I do think the Calgary Flames, under the new coaching, we're going to see a really improved team out there. We saw it last night. This team, the morale, the spirit, the competitiveness looks back for the Calgary Flames. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this season. But you guys, again, thank you so very much. We are live here weekdays at 5:30 Eastern. Game Time Decisions is kicking off right at the top of the hour. So make sure you go over and join the guys over there. They're going to be giving you their best bets and everything that's happening out there. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Do me the favor there. And then also check out the Sports Grid app. You don't want to miss out. There's so many player props on there, trends, bets. You can connect straight to your favorite sports book over there. And also you can follow your favorite hosts. So all the best, you guys, in all of your bets tonight. Let's make some freaking money on the ice as well as in the rest of the sports out there. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a good one, and let's go. Bye, guys.